Hello, everybody. It is an absolute pleasure to be here. My name is Agrode. I'm one of the founders and CEO of Splinterlands. It is 2 p.m. Eastern on January the 7th in the year 2022, and I am pleased as punch to be joined by some of the other members of our community, the one and only co-founder, Matt Rosen. Matt, do you want to say hi to the folks?
Hey, everybody. Also super excited to be here. Sorry I missed the last two, but I had family obligations on Christmas and New Year's Eve.
So we got Matt in the house. I believe we also have on camera a gentleman by the name of Richard or Hardpoint. Hardpoint, do you want to go give a quick intro? Oh, I can't hear him. Is he muted? And where's Hardpoint?
Hey,
There
sorry,
we go.
I was muted. Hey guys, welcome to 22 with Splinterlands. I'm super excited to be here. Been a CTO, ready to get this year kicked off right. Let's do it.
And then who else is on camera right now?
Nate.
We have the one and only Nate. Nate, do you want to go give a quick introduction who you are and what you do, and then we can get this party started?
Yeah, for sure. My name is Nate, as he mentioned. I'm creative director, and that has to do with the visuals, the front end, the user journey. Try to make that as exciting and engaging as possible. So we're pretty stoked for this year and all the big plans and everything that we're probably going to be talking about here in the town hall. So glad to be here.
So let's get kicked off this way. Last year we had just tons of server problems as we were trying to just handle an enormous amount of growth. Can we get a 2022 update on servers? Hardpoint, how is the game functioning? Are we crashing every minute? Like, what's our current status of this?
We're doing fantastic right now, actually. In fact, we're weathering some nice attacks too. People are starting to take notice. We're starting to grow a little notoriety out there in the crypto world, and if you don't have an attack once or two, you're not doing it right. So we're even handling that, and the game held up fine. So really excited about that. Gameplay is really going good. In fact, Aggie, I think we're starting to talk about going back to live tournaments, right?
Yeah. That's so. I was man. This is one of the ones that everybody's going to yell at me about. I have been actively redesigning the tournament system, and I didn't think it was going to take as long as it has, but it's been a monster. I think I'm pretty close to actually putting these tournaments up live. So that'll get the tournaments going again. But not only are we going to do the regular tournaments, I think that we can get back to doing some of the brawlers. I know people missed kind of the synchronous tournaments, so I think it's time to bring those back. We got the okay last week from our VP of engineering, K-Bucks. So I think we're good to go. And I'll put one or two up, probably just the one, and we'll see how it goes. And then, pending on feedback of that, and we don't crush or break everything, then we should be back okay. All right, so the servers are functioning. The other thing that was kind of like a big headache of 2021 was the tickets and the servers, and hopefully what I'm doing here is like, the players when given a chance would like to go rip into us sometimes for our failings. Let's just go talk about the things that we didn't get perfectly, and then let's talk about how we're set up for success in 2022. So how are we on tickets and support, and where's that at, and what's the trend line look like?
Super excited to talk about this. We actually killed in the last 2 weeks, significantly cut down all of the wax and large credit DEC and SPS tickets. I mean, Matt and our leads and the whole support team really rallied, and we were able to clear through a whole bunch of stuff. I know a lot of people are a lot happier now and starting to get a much more efficient process going internally. So super excited about that. Finally, the support team has been working their butts off to get our Zendesk lined up so I can see everything, what's blocking, where it is, and we can start to address the real blockers there. I mean, one of the most interesting things to highlight for people that I've been talking about is just the trend line with tickets has been going half and half and half. And what was the exciting thing was in December, we literally had almost half the tickets we received in November. And that was half of the tickets almost that we received in October. And that was just an acceleration of just the stability of the system getting better, us being able to quickly turn around tickets. But not only that, we've actually launched in December, we launched a whole new knowledge base articles where you can actually go there for the hot topics at support.splinterlands.com and see some of the great articles our team is producing. And we're going to be building that out this year. So that's pretty fantastic. And also the dev team, we've had some issues with the SPS airdrop every now and then. Some people open some tickets on it, and we are working through that right now. But overall, I want to say it like I say on every stream, the unsung heroes that I am singing every single week is support. You guys just give them lots of love, give them high fives. They work their butt off to make sure your guys' lives are so much better. Boom, right there. Excited to be here, excited to see those guys working hard.
So give me two numbers. I want to know how many tickets did we generate in December, and how many left open tickets do we still have?
We have, let's see here, we generated 2,618 tickets in December compared to November with 4,417. And let's see, how many did we close? I don't have that number in front of me. We solved 1,900 in December, and we solved 4,200 in November for comparison.
So
A total, let me just say this. Since we took off in July and everything went like gangbusters, we've solved over 34,619 tickets in the last 4 months.
That is a lot. And how many are still outstanding?
We only have 1,161 tickets outstanding right now.
And are those? Why do you think that those are still outstanding? Like, are those special cases? Are we like, what's still left to clean up, if anything? Are these new tickets that we just haven't gotten to yet, or are these old tickets that are more complicated? What are those?
So the two biggest areas of tickets that we've been struggling with to get closed are, one of them is very specifically, if you guys have noticed, we can't change your email address on our website. And that is one thing that you can't just email us and say, we're going to change your email, because that could be an exploit. So we literally are working in the background right now on developing a totally new way and thinking it through from a product design perspective, from a securities perspective. And so something that's going to be coming in the next little bit is a totally revamped way of managing your email address associated with your account. And that is blocking quite a number of tickets that people have out there. That's like 240 tickets are blocked right now because of email. The other big blocks we have are bugs and us running that with dev, and they are actively working. If you guys have seen our release notes, you guys know that those guys are just crushing through it and killing it. So everything else is kind of a smattering of all kinds of different questions that come through. You know, we have a lot of bridges. We have a lot of different ways that people are engaged with us with crypto. So you guys can imagine that we have quite a bit of distribution of other tickets in those areas.
Well, that all sounds super promising and pretty awesome. All right, Matt, do you want to give us any kind of thoughts on big product roadmap items for Q1 of 2022? Like, what's the big? What are we working on right now, and what are your priorities?
Yeah, I mean, the crazy thing is that we have so many more people working on so many more things that I'm not going to remember them all off the top of my head, which is also a good thing, because we kind of went from a situation where like I was either doing or like directly managing or in charge of kind of everything, and that was not a scalable solution for anything. So yeah, the fact that like it's just not all in my head anymore, and we have a bunch of really awesome people that are running with a lot of this stuff is great. You know, I hope everyone's, you know, pretty clear on what we have going, at least for Q1 of this year. My main focus is on the SPS validator nodes that we've talked about a lot in the SPS governance system. You know, that's just really important, I think, for everybody here, for this whole community, everyone who has SPS, which should be pretty much everybody. You know, that's going to make this, you know, truly a decentralized organization to run the SPS token. and then to start using that to control what happens not only with the token, but with what happens in the game going forward. And that's really the goal of all of this, have it be kind of the first or one of the first game ever that is completely run and controlled by the player base. So the goal of that is less us, on these town halls or whatever saying, here's what's going to happen, and more the players deciding what's going to happen. And we're sort of just helping to implement things or whatever is needed. So that's the thing, like, I'm the most excited for, I think. And that's hard. It's hard to say that because obviously there's land, which I am unbelievably excited for. But the only thing that to me can make land better is a governance system where the players are the ones kind of owning and controlling that whole experience. So I think land and everything we do is just going to be that much better as a result of the SPS governance. So then, SPS governance is one thing. Obviously, we have the Chaos Legion general sale starting on the 17th. And then, Cryptomancer is kind of the main one on that. Then he's also going to be focusing on the wild and modern formats, which I'm also extremely excited about because, as a lot of people have pointed out, it is difficult to get into the game and to compete unless because you may be competing, especially as you start moving up in the ranks. Maybe you bought some Chaos Legion packs or rented some cards, but then you're competing with alpha cards and beta cards and essence orbs and promo cards and all this stuff. And you're like, well, it's just not realistic to even rent a lot of those. So I think the wild modern format, which is something that most games in the industry do, will allow it to be kind of the best of both worlds. If you are an OG player who, has a full alpha deck or anything like that, then you can play in wild and, you can show those off. But for the players who have come in more recently and have, maybe only Chaos Legion or Chaos Legion and Untamed, they'll have just a much more level playing field, against people with similar cards that can be used. And I think it'll just make the game a lot more fair and more interesting, and just kind of provide everybody with their own place to play in. And then, as soon as that's done, Cryptomancer is his main focus is going to be on phase 1 of the land expansion. And, we have other developers available, but to me, land expansion is like the biggest and most important thing that we are going to be building in Splinterlands. And I want Cryptomancer working on it. No offense to any of the other people, including myself, who work on this game, but I think like he's just the best one between having been a part of this community since the beginning. There's just no one who knows this whole thing better than he does, I think. So that's definitely not going to be out in Q1, but it'll be very much underway in Q1. And then hopefully as that process goes, we'll be able to start showing screenshots and, little clips and teasers about how that's all going to work, which to me is super exciting because I'm looking forward to seeing those myself. So I think those are, hope I'm not missing anything, but those are like the big things I think on the radar for Q1.
That sounds comprehensive for now. And Matt, can you show everybody on screen the cards that you're shuffling? Because it's like at least 20 jokes deep now.
Oh,
So
right, yeah, the cards. I have other things to play with that aren't as noisy. So these are promo cards from all the codes have been used. So, you can't even see them anymore. These are promo cards from December 2018. The first round of promo cards, and they've just sat on my desk and I play with them and they're totally destroyed. I was thinking about maybe at some point, if we have extra time, which I know will never happen, I'll like make NFT versions of like each one of these cards. Like you can redeem them and I'll like mail the physical ones out somewhere in the world or something. You could have an original card that Matt destroyed.
That's awesome. I love it.
Anyway, so.
Be careful. Nate's going to release the next expansion where every card looks like it's been shuffled 20,000 times by Matt.
Maybe it could be a skin. You have this like destroyed, dilapidated card.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
it's coming.
Special.
Exactly.
All right, Nate, do you want to go tell us a little bit about what your high expectations or high hopes are for 2022?
No, for sure. I think my focus is going to be to continue to elevate the production quality of the player experience. So we want to make sure that um, we don't forget all the functions and features and everything that already exists. We'll continue to improve those. But that'll be in parallel with us releasing the new updates and features, which will have those higher standards in mind. So as we get more and more popular, not just within the blockchain space, but in the world in general. I mean, the marketing team has been just wow, slam after slam right out of the park. I just see news about Splinterlands left and right in major news sources and channels, and I have to say, wow, hats off to them. But also, the more eyeballs we have on us, the more imperative it is that we can play with the big boys, so to speak. So our focus, at least on the creative side, will definitely be to make sure that we can go head to head with AAA game studios and things of that nature. So in addition to that, there's a lot of fun stuff that we're working on. In particular, I'm really excited to introduce who's going to talk in a little bit is Joey, who he was a guest on a town hall previously, but he is one of the narrative designers, and he'll share with you a little bit about what I'm going to touch upon. But we are excited to include the community in all these ideas that that are being talked about internally with the team. And something that has been brought to bear repeatedly internally is the fact that great ideas, can come from anywhere. And a lot of great ideas in the game have stemmed from the feedback from the players. So to kind of go hand in hand with that and ride the coattails of not just the feedback site, the landing page that we already have that allows you to suggest new features and things like that. The narrative team has also been working hard on updating the when you get matched up with a player, and you'll notice the splinter bites, those cool little snippets of lore, little game tips, and things like that. We want to expand upon that idea, so we are working internally to try to improve that experience by not only revising a whole bunch of the lore, so it goes hand in hand with the Chaos Legion story and all the exciting events that's happening with that. Which, by the way, if you're not reading up on all the lore that gets published on our blog post or following the cool voice acting that's happening on the YouTube, then you're really missing out. I really encourage you guys to check out all that stuff. It's very epic in nature and cool and adventurous. And I think a lot of you guys who are playing with these cards on the game will get a kick out of the depth that we go to bring these characters to life. But the idea here is that when you get matched up in the game, you see these little snippets of lore, and I think we're going to expand upon that. My vision is to maybe even make it a full screen experience. But besides updating those snippets of Splinter Bytes internally from the narrative team, we're going to be looking to you, the community, to share with us not necessarily the lore. You don't have to worry about the lore, but we want to help onboard new users, or even we want to help advanced users and experienced users. We want to go the full gamut of wherever your play level is, whether it's bronze level or champion level, whether you're a week old or whether you are, years a veteran, who's seen many battles. We want you to look at that screen and walk away with something not only useful or cool or interesting, but possibly a critical piece of information that will literally help you in the battle that you're about to play right then and there. So, hand in hand with that, and Joey will get a little bit more into that. We're going to involve the players in that, and the idea here is that as you submit your ideas, winners for that will be rewarded in some way, at the very least, with your user game name right there on the screen in the game for all to see. That hey, Billy Joe Bob 376. Was a smart guy. I used his information. I'm gonna, give that guy a shout out because he's helped me. So, and maybe I can convince Aggro to give us a little bit of a prize pool on top of that. We'll see. You'll have to chime in, but I'll let Joey, describe the rest of what we have planned. But that's kind of our vision for 2022 is elevate the production quality, make a whole bunch of cool, awesome stuff to engage with, and release update after update after update that just adds more and more to the Splinterlands ecosystem.
So I want, I'm still looking for more storytelling, both through the audio stories that we've been doing, but also, a couple of minute long shorts and just kind of like comics and other types of content. Is 2022 the year that we get to start doing that? Or
It's
is that going to be even further back?
It's quite possible. I mean, if you're watching this, sir, you know who you are. I actually just scheduled an interview with an editor / writer for Marvel and DC Comics. He seemed to be a veteran in the industry, so I'm looking forward to that interview. But the idea here is that yes, we want to go ahead and branch out into as many different mediums as possible. And I think that what's beautiful about that is the fact that it's not just content to digest and be entertained by. A lot of this content that we intend to produce will have layers. I mean, unlike most companies that just put out, like, let's say, a comic book or a trailer or something to promote their bread and butter, which is the game itself, perhaps. When we produce content, holy crap. Well, we're a blockchain NFT based gaming company, which means that every piece of panel in that comic book could be an NFT. And maybe you could give it utility, and maybe you could have some sort of functionality behind it. Every animated anything that we do can be utilized in some way with NFTs and blockchains. And I could only imagine the ecosystem that's going to grow from this. And I've said this time and time again over the past, I think, year of AMAs is, guys, if you think that ranked play is it, if you think that ranked play is the game, then once land is introduced and once we start exploring all these different channels of medium and media and gameplay and all this other stuff, ranked play is just going to be one little spot in this ginormous ecosystem, this Splinterverse. So yeah, go ahead and TM that Splinterverse. You are entering the Splinterverse. So it's exciting times for sure.
Yeah, sounds awesome. All right, so maybe we should bring on our first guest. So I think Joey is the most appropriate. So Joey, do you want to go say hi to the audience, reintroduce yourself, and tell us who you are?
Be on server muted.
Can we get him on server muted?
There, Joey, unmute yourself. Talk.
All right, can you hear me?
There we go.
Okay, so I'm Joey. I'm on the narrative team. I write short stories. I wrote The War Begins when Chaos Legion kicked off. Another thing that I'm working on is trying to wrap our whole lore into the hero's journey. If you're familiar with it, that's the three-act structure based on mythology. And we started it with Chaos Legion. We wanted to run through the validator nodes, the land expansion, Rift Watchers, and then culminate all of this lore and all these characters together in our next major card release, Rebellion. I know I'm super excited about it. The other writers are very excited about it. So make sure, like everybody's been saying, stay up with those stories that we're writing. The videos are awesome. The voice narrator is awesome. It's really cool. I'm also an editor for the stories. I work in card design and lore, world building, and a bunch of other stuff. And then one of my big projects right now is the Splinter Bites that Nate mentioned, those lore snippets when you're waiting for the game to start. So right now, there's 643 Splinter Bites in the game, 346 are game related, and there's 297 lore related. So as we're going through these and reviewing them, we realize that there's a lot that are really outdated, especially with new cards and abilities, the new third-party websites that have popped up, and everything that's come out recently in the game. And if you're active on Discord, whether in Map Chat or Journal or whatever, I'm constantly seeing people who are mentioning, "Hey, this is outdated, that is outdated." So we're trying to get all that fixed and in line with where the game is at currently. And that's not just the game related Splinter bytes, but also the lore related Splinter bytes, and make sure those are updated to reflect the direction we want to take the Splinterlands story in Chaos Legion and beyond. So as we started working on them,
hold on, give me a high level of what is the story that you're trying to tell? So like when oftentimes the storyline ends up being like, I've looked at a lot of design contests, and I always think that the people that have stories win design contests. And it's like, if you don't have a good story, it's hard to have a unified message. So I think the concept of what is your general story is really important. And then like, what is some flavor to that story? I keep going back to like Justin Roiland and and Rick and Morty being like, he's a really good storyteller. Very dark, but and I don't like everything that the guy says or does, but his writing talent is basically phenomenal. And he often goes like dark and twisted. So those are kind of like flavors of how that works. Like, what's your style? Do you have like a key thesis that we're exploring with the lore? Like, what is give me some of like the core like essence or heart of the story that we're trying to tell.
yeah. So the Splinterlands is really the source of mana, and it's one of the most concentrated sources of mana within the Splinterverse. So everything kicked off when the Chaos Legion invaded the Splinterlands. And as you've seen, if you've been following along with the short stories, it's pretty dark. At this point, the Chaos Legion has invaded. You're going to find out, hey, they've spread across the Splinterlands, and the denizens of the Splinterlands they're not really faring that well. It's a dark time in our history. There's a lot of individual packets of resistance. As you follow along with some of the characters that we develop, you'll see how they try to fight against the Chaos Legion, and then that will lead into the Riffrot Watchers. Without giving anything away, that's kind of like the moment of hope. Hey, there's somebody out there that can help us. How do we get some help? How do we defeat the Chaos Legion? And then that carries on through Rebellion. And during all this, we also want to introduce the concept of battle mages, which are the players themselves, and they're kind of like celebrities in the world of Splinterlands. They go up to Mount Mox, they play with their cards, and they do battles and such. But just like in the real world, they may be an action hero on TV, but they're not really an action hero in real life. You're not going to see Tom Cruise running around fighting bad guys in real life. But maybe that's what's got to happen if we're going to beat the Chaos Legion. So that darkness moving into some light and some hope, and then Rebellion. Well, hopefully we win. We'll see. But yeah, that's kind of the direction we want to go with that.
Rock on. So what out of all of this, what are you most excited about? What is it that you're hoping that players experience or feel? Like when you're done and a player has consumed your content and they have gone from beginning to end and followed it all the way through, what are you hoping that they're saying, that they're doing? What's the message that should be coming out from the end result of all this?
So they should feel like they're part of the game. They're part of the lore and the story that is Splinterlands. They're not a third party just kind of observing all this happening. They're a battle mage in the game, fighting the Chaos Legion and helping to bring hope and victory to the Splinterlands.
That's a good answer. All right. I think we got to move on. I got a couple more people that I got to reach out to here.
Oh, real quick. I want to. Hey, Joey, are you prepared to share that form, or do you think we should wait?
So I'll just drop this in chat right now, and we can pin it somewhere later. So I just dropped it in the town hall chat. This is basically a Google form where the players, can submit your Splinter bytes. We know there's plenty of people out there with insights, strategies, third-party websites they want to use or whatever. So use this form, submit your Splinter bytes, and if we use yours in game, we'll credit you by username and possibly a reward as well.
Rock on. Sounds awesome. We can put some money to that. Okay, so I guess let's go pull Chatter on, and let's go drag Chatter through this, and he can go tell us all about marketing across 2022, some of his core objectives, and some of the ways that he thinks that we're going to reach them. So, like last show was all about what was 2021 going to do, and now this is all about like, well, how are we going to kick butt in 2022? What are your objectives? What are your plans? And how are we? What are like the tactical steps of how we're going to get there?
Absolutely. So, as I mentioned kind of last week, a lot of it was just foundation building. And now that everything's really done for the most part, it's just kind of what are the next steps and how do we really start building up our platform? So, right now, ads are going to be that kind of first pivotal thing that we're looking at. We launched Brave Ads as of like the end of last week. We're starting to spin up some stuff on Stack Adapt. We're going to get Snapchat going pretty soon here. And then kind of pending a new landing page that we have to build out in WordPress just due to kind of advertising crypto and how our source code's working right now. Hopefully by end of January, we'll have kind of Facebook, Instagram, Google, YouTube, all that other kind of fun stuff spun up as well. From there, as users are kind of coming to our site, and really the main goal of all this is to be getting new users and new signups to the website. We're going to be pushing a lot of product marketing on them after that. So how do we encourage people to really find the value within the game and really kind of address that value prop that is, oh, hey, you can play the game, you can actually earn rewards from us, and really it's just a fun game to play altogether. And so as we push people towards that, we're going to be doing a lot more kind of deeper and lower funnel marketing. What that's going to look like is kind of email, a lot more events kind of coming up. And then, I mean, stuff on the table right now as far as kind of like tournaments go. We're doing one with Zen Sports this weekend. That's going to be kind of like hosted on Zen Sports stream. I'll post a link to that in the chat just right after this. We have a community gaming one coming up, which should be in February, as well as the kind of full year league tournament that we're going to be doing with Zen Sports. Really exciting is we do have an offer out to someone for the esports manager position. So hopefully they'll be coming on in the next couple of weeks and helping us spin our own internal league up, which is great. We're also hiring a graphic designer for the marketing team so we can turn around assets a lot more quickly. That will be for social banners, events, ads, really everything on the marketing side of things. We have the CoinMarketCap Alpha live right now. So please, if you haven't checked it out, go over to CoinMarketCap, look at our token listing page for SPS. We have the ability to have a live chat on our page as well as post articles right now. So the more you get involved, the more the algorithm kind of starts pushing our token towards the rest of the general public. So that's a great organic means of people kind of finding our token, discovering us right now. Otherwise, lots of conferences, really. We're just trying to get brand awareness out there. So next ones coming up, I think, are the Southeast Asia Metaverse Conference right now. We also have a arcade conference coming up with a potential exchange in the next couple of weeks here. Other than that, looking at the Edge of NFT LA conference, we've done some stuff with inside.com and we're spinning some stuff up there, both ads, conferences, speaking ops, kind of so on and so forth, as well as a whole huge spin of all the PR stuff that Nate was mentioning earlier with the kind words there. So lots of stuff. Other stuff in the wings, I guess. Token Gamer named us the Game of the Year for 2021. So seeing a lot more, I guess, buy-in from the blockchain side of things. It's really now just how do we link that blockchain to mainstream audiences? And then as we bring them in, how do we really refine that funnel to get them finding the value prop and really staying with us long-term? I guess, long story short.
Yeah.
Oh, and after this, we're going to be doing a Learn to Play stream too. So if anyone wants to come watch Richard and I or Hardpoint and I just kind of shoot the S word and hang about, please feel free to. It's going to be a very laid back stream, not really anything super political or like business related, but go and join us. Should be a fun time. That's going to be 5 p.m. EST, same Twitch channel here. So stay tuned.
Right on. That just listening, that sounds like a lot. Feels like you're doing a lot. Good. That's good. Hopefully the community digs that and feels like there are avenues and pathways that we as a company have ways to get out more and more content to more and more people. I actually think this is a pretty good time to go bring Waffles Kitty on. Waffles, hopefully you can come talk to us about Digicon, kind of like one of our signature projects in our whole effort to do this. And thank you, Clay, for that little dancing image. Not distracting at all. Is Waffles, you there?
That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is what happens when you work with people for years, that they have like ridiculous things of what you've said and done. All right, Waffles, can you speak? Are you there? Hello.
I'm server muted.
Oh, I can
Well,
hear
you're-
her one
you're
way.
good.
All right, come chat with us. All right, so so
Yes,
tell us. Yeah, I think we can hear you. Come tell us who you are, what you do, and what you're working on.
hey, Happy New Year once again, guys. So this is Waffles Kitty, aka Sarah, aka your Digicon event coordinator. So Digicon is like your gateway to amazing crypto projects, talks, giveaways, of course, the swag, and community networking. It's happening January 21st to 23rd. And with the 22nd, Saturday being the main live stream date from 2 to 5 p.m. Eastern. So don't miss out on that. It's been a little bit crazy over the holidays, but we're super excited to roll out our first Digicon of the year. I will be posting the link in the town hall for the event RSVP. So do me a favor, show me your numbers, and RSVP there. Other than that, I only have 3 upcoming blogs happening. So a 2021 Wrapped to explore Digicon over the past year, along with some key highlights and analytics. A post on Digicon 7 to see what's new, who's coming, and other things to look forward to. Obviously, swag and like some speakers and a lot of great new projects that are interested in coming through. And then lastly, we have a Digicon website revamp, so look forward to that. I've been working really hard on it. So it's in the works. More info, organized event recaps, highlights, videos, tutorials, and also user submitted articles and a bunch of other stuff. So I'm super excited to see what you guys think of it. So hopefully you can get access to it soon. Okay.
Is there what would you say is the number one reason why somebody that is part of our audience should attend Digicon? What's the best thing about it? What's the best reason to be there?
The best reason is that you get to go on stage on the dance floor in the party room, and they get to break dance with you, Aggie.
Well, okay,
That's the
sweet.
best.
Come break dance with me. We'll be there. You heard it here live from Awful City. All right. Is there anybody else I'm supposed to bring on air? All right,
Actually, K-Bucks was going to jump in here and give us a little dev update. They've been busting their butt, and I thought it'd be great to hear from them.
All right. Yeah, K-Box, are you? Hopefully, he's unmuted and free to party with us.
Double checking that right now.
No, he's server muted. Unmuted. K-Bucks.
Hey guys.
There we go. So, K-Bucks, who are you? What do you do? And what are you excited about for 2022?
Hey, great. Hey, everybody. I'm K-Bucks or Kevin, VP of Engineering here on Splinterlands, leading a team of approximately 12 to 13 developers now. The fact that it's that high kind of blows my mind. And what we're really trying to do is make all of Agro's and Matt's dreams come true. We're really trying to organize really
That's a little
every single one.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the stated goal. But really, we're trying to organize the team so we can really just create a software factory. I think that's the big thing. We're trying to stamp out code, and everything that goes into that is big and complicated, and it's a lot of process. But what I thought I'd do is give a little more details on like an example of the different types of work we're doing. So there's really 4 types of work that the 12 developers are up to right now. One is that main kind of game work, where it's general sale, modern versus wildland. And the big work going on there is the new pages for general sale and that functionality. The second thing is around security scale.
So I sometimes call that feature development. Do you think that's fair to just call that feature development?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that works good. The second thing is around security scale and really just the day-to-day make the platform great for the players. Probably an example of that is we're developing a way for people to download their account balances from last year. That comes up all the time, and that'll be coming either next week or the week after.
That is actually one of the top requests on feedback.splinterlands.com that was upvoted by you guys. And guess what? You guys upvoted it. We're working on it.
Yeah. So can you give us a little bit more detail on what that is? What's the output? What are people getting, and why do they want this thing?
Sure, I can talk about what they're getting. What they're basically going to get is they can download a CSV for every time the game either gave them DEC, they transferred DEC in or out, they transferred SPS in or out. Um, really, anytime what their balance has changed, they'll have a record for all of 2021. And hopefully, I think people have asked for that for just a record keeping, for taxes, for other kind of those reasons. We're not trying to tell them what they use it for. We're just making sure they can get all the data.
Okay. There were a couple other categories. Hit me with these. Security, I think, was next.
Security is kind of an everyday thing, and that kind of dovetails into how we manage crypto. Really, the work Matt's described around how we get crypto in and out of the system, how we're going to be enhancing SPS. So I guess that's a kind of a bigger category over the rest of the year. But we have a couple of developers working on that front, and probably the example that comes up the most is when you transfer NFTs in and out of the system, making sure that it works all the time and it's stable. I know that if you look at our tech support channel, those are questions that come in all the time. We don't make sure those are kind of a stable system. And the last one is really around the software factory, how we spec, build, test, deploy, and monitor the system. The way I measure that is how often we deploy updates. Right now, it takes a couple hours to get updates out. We want to bring that down to minutes, and we want to bring that down to many times per week. So when we want to do these sort of tax kind of downloads, that's an easy thing. We can get that out. We want to make little changes to the system. That's an easy update. We can get it out. That's my biggest focus right now is really around that software factory for Splinterlands.
Are you thinking about that too in terms of Matt's objectives with like validator nodes and getting user like thoughts and stake weighted votes on how we do things? Like how does your plan for updates integrate with how we want to make sure that the players are ultimately the ones that are like in control of how this game will function?
Yeah, I think that it's interesting. So what we're building is a generic way to build, test, and deploy software, whether it be our validator nodes, our blockchain nodes, our APIs, any kind of like voting system that we build. We're trying to, instead of that being artisanal or custom, as I've heard people say, we're trying to make that really just standard. So if players want to download those validators and run them, that's a standard way that's done, and it's the same way we run our code. So we're dogfooding that work. We know it works. We know it'll kind of work well on your machine.
That's a great answer. Okay, so we have 4 different types of work. We have more people doing that work than ever before. Are you done hiring? Are you completely tapped out? We have as many people as we'll need for the next couple of years, and we're good. Or what's your roadmap look like?
Every great company I've been a part of has said you never stop looking. We want kind of the best and brightest that care about our players, that care about our community, that care about our game. So I would say we're never done looking. So if somebody's out there that loves the code, that loves our community, that loves our game, please let us know. Please hit me up in Discord or hit someone that you know on the team up.
So other than being passionate, what are you looking for in developers? Like, what are we taking anybody off the street? Do we need only PhD mathematicians and coders from MIT? Like, do we need 50-year vets? Like, what's the profile of the person that we're looking for these days?
Sure. So the passion around jamming code is always first and foremost. But I would say that just after that is that they want to be a part of a development community. We're not just care about the community and Discord and our players, but we're trying to build an internal development community that's worldwide, that's inclusive to anybody who is passionate about the game. So what I tell the developers on the team is it's just as important to help your teammates as it is to get your work done. So people that kind of want to live that life, want to focus on helping the internal community, not just the external community. That's a core requirement we're looking for.
I don't get too much into into how the developers run, but I keep thinking, my academic career, I was a PhD chemist, and then I worked in all these universities and publishing, and I remember one university head was talking about there's an ongoing battle between the corporate heads of and administrators versus the old medieval guilds that ran that were kind of the academic institutions. And I got to tell you, I kind of like the medieval guild more than I like the big corporate everything. Like I would rather that the developers felt like they had their own say. They knew what the business priorities are, but like we're organizing that internally to the best of their ability, not being shoved just some corporate agenda, but like really having that like guild mentality of, we are not just here as code monkeys, we are here as co-collaborators, co-contributors, that we are not just order takers or some code sweatshop. We are owners and operators in ensuring that our community and our game is as successful as we can make it.
Yeah, I mean, 1000%. It's like you pulled that out of my head. The way that really translates day to day is when people ask me something, 99 times out of 100, my answer is go ask the team. What does the team think? So when they say, we should change this process, we should change this code, I want to make this big change, and they come to me, I'm like, don't ask me, ask the team. If the team's behind it, I'm behind it. And that's really how major decisions, major changes, it's really driven. It's just like our feedback system in the game. That's really how we're running things internally.
That's amazing. Yeah, the challenge with consensus-based decisions is that they're slower. The benefit is that they actually solve the problems, right? Like if you have 5 different people that have 5 different concerns, but you only build it for 2 of them because that's like who had the best relationships with the corporate guy, like you don't build good products. You hire amazingly smart people, you give them tough challenges, and then you give them authority to kind of like stick their nose into what other people are working on and be like, hey, this is going to impact the guy that's using my thing. Let's make sure that it hits both our needs rather than you just do your own. And so I really like what you're doing with the whole collaborative workspace. And I hope you feel as empowered as possible to like think through, how do we make sure that this team can act collaboratively, can code collaboratively, that has the room that they need, where it's not like the day that I come to you and I'm like, we have this deadline and you will make this product by this and it will do this. Like you should just throw me out a window. It's like, let's have a conversation about our needs, our customer needs, our player needs, our like the goals that our security team has. Like, let's be really collaborative in this experience and make sure that all the core concerns, whether they're business, marketing, security, creative, developer, feature, player, let's make sure that everybody has a voice and put a ton of time into the design, and then bang out code at the end when we really know what we're going after.
Yeah, 1000%. I know Richard Hardpoint has often said we're looking for senior talent. What we mean by that is people who can live in that environment on day one, live and contribute and grow that environment on day one, instead of people, because we're still fairly small, we can't grow developers into those kind of that type of contributor today. We will be able to in the future. So we're looking for people that can on day one live in that environment and contribute to it.
So how do you know if they can or not? How do you get that? How do you figure out if they can actually like participate that way? Can you participate that way if you've only been coding a year, or can you only do that if you've been there for 30 years in a like a fintech environment? Like how do you even isolate whether that person has the right set of like coding talents, but also the right mindset? How do you figure that out?
Yeah, it's easier when they've had a lot of experience in something. So it's really, do you have experience doing very hard things in decently large teams? So we have developers on the team who are in their mid 20s, but since they were 15 years old, they were doing cool projects in large teams. We have some people on the team that are with 25 years experience, but the same thing. So as we interview and we talk to people, the core questions are like, tell me the coolest, hardest things you've done, not alone, but with other people. And we find your ability to navigate that environment just takes time, takes experience, but can be done kind of at any age.
So there's one joke kind of line that I'm used to in code of what one developer can do in 1 month, two developers can do in 2 months. So on the flip side, it's like when you add more cooks into the kitchen, like it just drags everything out and it's super inefficient. So how do you avoid that? Like, yes, we want this highly collaborative environment, but I don't want it so that like you have a committee to book meetings for the committee to do the thing that's 6 months out. Like how do we keep it so that it's collaborative but still nimble?
Yeah, a little bit is we're trying to grow expertise. So we're trying to develop superheroes on the team. So as much as possible, we try to funnel communication into those expertise areas. So if someone's working on battles, they have a channel for battles, just like we have channels in Discord. It's the same kind of thing. If people are working on general sale, there's a channel for general sale, and so the discussions are in those kind of a little bit smaller groups. When it grows out to the whole team, it's more on like team process, team changes. So we scope the team and discussions around those teams, and then it's a leadership challenge on my part, on Richard Hardpoint's part, to make sure that we're driving towards kind of ideas and solutions, and understand that we can't just talk forever. But I think the core of it is, as we grow superheroes on the team, the flywheel of discussions just happen faster and faster.
So how do you guys interface with like Nate's group, right? So we talk a lot about like this code assembly line. There are two things that I want to do, and I'm going to tease this out just a little bit. But I want more game modes and I want more play modes available for Splinterlands. And at some point in the not too distant future, I want to start getting additional games out as well. So I don't want to talk about that too much because I don't want that to take away from what we're doing today. But at some point in the not too distant future, I think that we need to focus on having more than one opportunity. Splinterlands is an incredible game. It's really fun. It's awesome. It's also super complicated, and it doesn't always meet the objective of trying to bring everybody into crypto, because not everybody is going to want to go play this super complicated game to get into crypto. So when we think about this, I start thinking about what's the assembly line? How do we build an assembly line for games? And a big part of that is getting ideation, design, creative work, and development work. How do you sort of interface with the creative team to take their plans? How much of the design is already done by the time it gets to you? How do we implement things of a creative process where you guys might not, our goal is oftentimes like, let's get a folder and have that folder entirely ready and pass it off to devs. Does that work? Do you want something different? How do we make sure that our design process fits your needs as a guild of developers?
Yeah, I mean that changes per task, per project, but I think the big thing is we want to make sure everyone's in the place to use their expertise as best as possible. So I found Nate can talk to this in way more detail than I can, but when they're given problems to solve and they are able to use their creativity around different kind of universe solutions, and they're able to kind of pitch those ideas around what's possible to the dev team, then we can use our engineering skills to talk about what's possible from an engineering perspective, using their creativity of what even like is dreamable, right? So in a lot of ways, the way that plays through is making sure that each kind of team group is working in the best kind of on their expertise. So we don't have developers coding what a UI should look like. We don't have developers coding what's the right way to think about splinters or a new splinter or a new type of card. We have developers thinking about the different other parts. But yeah, it is a little messy, but I think that's where the collaboration, when I talked about the developers we're looking for are focused on helping your teammates, talking to your teammates. That's where that is central, because it is a little bit of a messy handoff. And messy in that it's not a clean do this spec. It is, we want to work together. That's why collaboration is so important, because we can't just formulaically decide when things are done and ready and handoffable. We work. Like I see Nate and Cryptomancer talking in Slack all the time, right? And that's the sort of stuff where it's not a handoff. It's a, what do you think about this? How is this possible? How can we do this here? There's a lot of back and forth.
Yeah, that sounds perfect and collaborative, and why we've been successful to date. Well, that's been awesome. It's so good to see that, there's just a ton of natural alignment in terms of like how this guild should operate from the dev side, how our creative team can reach you guys and collaborate on, here's the things that we want to build, and let's make sure that this assembly line is making sense. And hopefully all of these things together can work with the business needs to make sure that we are getting as many different brands and opportunities and partners into this experience so that we can grow our community. Because ultimately, I'll say this till I'm blue in the face. This has been my operating plan since the very beginning. People are the value. And our goal should be to figure out how do we provide the people that are in our ecosystem with as much value as possible, to give them entertainment that is rewarding and fun. Shouldn't just be grind to earn, but should really be play to earn in this replayable, fun experience with good gameplay, a phenomenal community, and an economy that helps the smallest minnow to the biggest whale all find financial success. And that's hopefully that sort of vision is good, and our execution on that vision is spectacular. That's my hope. Okay. And anybody else on the team have anything that they want to do before we start going into the questions that we've gotten over the last week? Hearing none, let's go hop into it. So this is our doc. So just so everybody knows, the way that these meetings work, hopefully we're getting some institutional memory here. But the part one is just of the town hall is just us kind of discussing stuff as a community. Part two is where we go through these kind of questions that the community asked over the last week, and we'll see if we've answered some of these already or how infuriated I get by trying to answer some of them. And then lastly, we'll go into sort of new questions that are generated during this discussion. We're not quite ready for those questions, but I got 3 pages of questions. I got a couple experts here, and let's go through them. So leadership questions. Agron and Chatter, if we want to discuss potential partnerships with Splinterlands, who do we talk to and via what channel? Discord, email, etc. I think it's okay to start with Chatter. It's also okay to come to me. I keep my Discord handle green as much as I can and am available to just reach out to. So bug me if you want. Start with Chatter if you want. And I would say Discord. What do you want, Chatter? Does Discord work best, or what do you want?
Yeah, Discord's great for me. If you shoot me a DM, my DMs are always open.
There you go. Hardpoint. I think Hardpoint spoke of this previously, but is it in the works to have a status update site of some kind, of a simple tracker for tech support inquiries that are over a month old?
So I guess they're wanting stats on that. Is that what they're wanting? Is that what we're saying here?
It's probably more individual than that.
So basically, the new site that we've been rolling out with Zendesk, you'll be able to log back in and check on your tickets without having to wait in your email. So yes, that is coming if it's not already out there.
Leadership. Does the team plan on having a Chaos Legion general sale Steam going right when it opens, similar to how the end of pre-sale worked?
I would love to. It was super fun when we did the launch. I'd love to sit there and us watch
Oh,
all the.
stream is what they mean.
Yeah, we did the launch stream. I
Yeah,
would
we
love to
should.
do it.
Yeah, let's do it. That was fun. Yeah, we'll make that happen. Chatter. That's all. That's all you, baby. All right.
I got it.
Development questions. I love that we have been given an in-game way to review our season rewards because there are so often problems with actually opening the chests and whatnot. Thanks. Are there any plans in motion to either fix the issues with chests or to add an option to revisit your last daily reward? I know it can be done on peak monsters, but that process is tedious and should be able to be streamlined within the game itself. Thank you.
Sounds like a great feedback.splinterlands.com suggestion that should be upvoted. Get some people behind it.
Yeah, and just generally, that goes in line with one of my thoughts is that we really need a rewards page of like all the ways, and it should be broken out by like what the community has done, maybe what the leagues have done, and what I've done for me and my account, and trying to get a sense of how have we performed. Okay. Aggie mentioned wanting to create casual games. Would these be play to earn games? Would SBS be significant in these games, or would new currencies be created for them? So I am talking about casual games. I am talking about play to earn. SPS might be significant in some, but I do think that there should be entirely new ones, and that might include different currencies. So casual games are definitely something we're exploring to make it as easy as possible for new people to enter into our gaming ecosystem. Gameplay questions. Why are there suddenly no more practice battles when you transition from Bronze 1 to Silver 3? Does the need to practice mysteriously evaporate at that point, or is it because the big boys can make money and they want cannon fodder to devour? Matt, you want to take this one?
Oh, I mean, I guess the answer is that they're just the matchmaking system will not match people in bronze with people in silver. So the answer is just that I guess there aren't people in silver playing practice battles very often. It's possible that we could or someone could run bots just to do practice battles and make sure you have an opponent there. I don't know if that would be ideal, but ultimately. If just people in that league aren't playing practice, then there's not going to be opponents there.
Land questions. Tracks and regions were bought with people pooling resources so that once they can be split, each can have according to their share. If the reveal occurs before they can be split and shared, then different rarities may make equal sharing difficult. So will they be allowed to split before the reveal so that ultimately it depends on luck which rarity one gets? Thanks.
So it's been a while since we talked about the land stuff. So I'm going to try to remember off the top of my head, but this is something we thought about. So I think the plan is something like when it's time to claim your land or redeem your claims, you'll be able to redeem them and get individual plots. And then separately, there's going to be a step to reveal those plots. So if you have a region with a part of a pool, the region claim can be redeemed. You'll get 1,000 unrevealed plots that can be then distributed out. And then each player can reveal them if they want to and see what the type of land is. And then there could be also a market for unrevealed plots and things like that going forward.
Economy questions. From current rewards cards, only 17 to 21% have been printed so far. Do you think the print amount for those was set too high, or were you planning for the current reward cards to stay in print for 2 or so years? Have you considered adding additional reward cards to the mix to freshen them up? A limited edition reward card that would stay in print for only a month or two and then change to another limited time reward card?
Yeah, possibly. I mean, we did intend for them to be available for quite a while. And, we also, especially with the reward cards, it's a little hard to plan exactly because if the number of players and accounts playing, continues to grow significantly, those will run out faster. So it's a little bit of like trying to guess. But in general, like I would love to have limited edition reward cards, and it's just generally more content like added into the game here and there. Right now, we still have a lot of stuff that we're working on at the same time. So, um, we don't really have the capacity yet to start adding more. But I think as more and more people are coming on and getting up to speed, we'll have more resources available to be just like putting in new content to the game. And that's not just reward cards, but it's rule sets and new avatar images and skins or whatever, just like all sorts of new content that's coming into the game on a regular basis. But it's just at the moment, we are focusing more on features and support and that type of stuff, security and scalability. Content's a little bit later.
Any thought on reducing the total number of reward cards to be printed to avoid flooding the market and stabilizing the price?
I don't. Well, we're definitely. I don't think going to reduce it. Once things are set, generally we don't really change them. I mean, but that is something that once SPS governance gets going, if that's what the community wants to do, then that could be done potentially. Whether or not it's something we want to do. But then we still have to have rewards, right? So that's another thing. So if we're reducing the total number of reward cards, then when they run out, are we ready to make new cards and add them into the game? That just adding new cards in the game is also not just as easy as throwing some stats on a picture and getting it out there. You have to make sure the cards are new and interesting and different enough, and they're not like too similar to other cards and either just better or worse than those cards and things like that. So just adding new cards into the game is not something super easy to do also.
Will Rift Watcher booster packs need vouchers? I'm of the opinion that we should 100% do 100% of Rift Watchers with vouchers only. But I'm open to other thoughts. Matt, what's your leading take on economy of boosters?
My leading take is that it's hard to plan for what's going to happen in a month, let alone 5 or 6 months out. So that's why I just don't want to say anything, because like now we have a lot of ideas, based on how things are right now. But when we come to Q2, who knows? Things could be totally different for any number of reasons that we can't even anticipate. And then at that time when it's getting ready to actually design Rift Watchers and launch it, then we'll pick what kind of makes sense at that point.
Fair enough. Okay. Suppose only 2.5 million packs are sold by the time that the next 2 airdrop cards are airdropped. Will the chance of getting those cards increase for those who have bought the packs, or will the rest of cards then be available with a 0.33% chance of future pack openings?
No, the chances, are going to be what we said in the post, regardless of how many packs are sold.
Okay. Can we have a total number of AD cards to be printed by AD number? Like X number for 3rd airdrop and Y number cards for the 7th airdrop card, etc. They're looking for future numbers of how airdrops will commence.
I'm not sure I understand.
Well, it's one of 2 numbers that they're looking for. How many card packs will I have to purchase in order to get an airdrop? And then the second one would be like how many airdrops will go into circulation for the next reward card or the next airdrop card that we put out.
Well, it's chance based. So I don't. So we for the next 2 airdrop cards we've published. I think it was 1 in 300, like 300 packs will guarantee an airdrop card. A minimum, but then obviously every pack has a chance of getting one. So I don't know. I haven't done the math, but you can just do the math for how many packs have been sold based on those chances, and see how many you can expect will be airdropped.
Okay. Since 2 million packs from Phase 2 will probably not sell, does that decrease the minted copies of the Phase 2 airdrops to keep the 300 pack per drop? So no, we're staying at 300. or the packs per drop requirement scale to meet the new purchase quantity? No, we're staying at 300. How many packs are needed for a guaranteed airdrop card during the public sale, meaning the general sale? So I guess once we get into the general sale, like how many cards are going to, how many packs do you need to purchase to guarantee your first airdrop in the general sale? Do you have thoughts on that number?
We haven't done that math yet, but we'll have a post out with the details of that as soon as it's ready. But generally, generally it increases by 25 packs for each new legendary card, assuming it's a legendary airdrop. So, it'd be somewhere in the 300 to 400 range. Again, it also, might depend on how many airdrops are happening at that time and things like that. So I don't have all the numbers yet, so that's why we haven't posted them.
Are the airdrops still going to count for all 10 in the first 24 hours of the general sale? So yeah, it's not all 10. It depends on how many packs we sell. But you are qualified in the first 24 hours of the general sale to get as many airdrops for the packs you purchase as the sale qualifies people for.
Like every pack purchased within the first 24 hours will be eligible. We'll have a chance to receive all of the future airdrops in the edition.
Good answer. All right. How many packs need to be purchased to get Maverick status? It's 1,000 packs. All right. Suggestions, requests. What's your take on a beginner's luck charm or something that would reward new players an extra daily chest or DEC boost or higher chance at reward cards or something like that? Matt?
Yeah, I don't know. Generally, I guess that's sort of like the quest potion, which led to issues. So overall, in addition to all the other stuff we're working on, we're also generally working on a high level overview of our ranked battle reward system, and how that works, and whether that incentivizes the correct or incorrect things, and ways that we can address that. Our goal is that we want, obviously, we want people to increase their collections, right? That's the goal, their collection power, and whether it's through renting or buying or whatever, doesn't really matter. But the whole point of this is that we want new people coming in, and we want new money coming into the ecosystem to get cards for themselves to get into higher leagues and rank up. So the whole issue that comes up a lot of tons of bots in Bronze League and all this stuff, it just means that the incentive structure is not quite right for the game. We need to incentivize, fewer accounts getting higher into higher leagues versus many accounts, using the starter cards in lower leagues. And I think there's some more. We have made some tweaks in the past, which were mostly reducing rewards in bronze, and ultimately, those were kind of quick solutions to serious problems that were coming up. But I think ultimately, as we take a higher level overview of the whole situation and just getting the incentive structure correct, I think we'll actually ultimately be able to increase the rewards once we address the issues that are causing, the ability to farm rewards and just generally do things that aren't along the lines of increasing your collection power and getting into higher leagues. So I think once we get our incentives in place, where it's much better to get up into Silver League with one account than playing in Bronze League with a bunch of accounts, or even the higher leagues, then we can start increasing the rewards in all the leagues, commensurately, I would say. And it's something that I don't want to get into specific information yet, because it really is like a whole overview of the entire thing. And it goes beyond just what are the rewards in ranked. It's, dark energy crystals and the economy there. It'll get into SPS eventually when that gets added in for ranked battles. So we kind of want to take our time to get that whole thing really nailed down and right. But it is a project that I've been working on along with some other people. is just rethinking that whole reward system. And another reason why we haven't been setting things in stone about that is we're also waiting for Modern and Wild format, because we don't want to do this whole redesign of things and then have a new mechanic come in that throws that all off. So once Wild and Modern format are out, the Chaos Legion General sale has happened and that's going. Then we can really take an overview of kind of how the current system is. That's how it's going to be for a while, and take that all into account when we design the incentives and reward structure properly. So that was a really long answer to that question.
That is a really long answer. All right, can you please do an in-depth bot check to determine the actual bot account numbers and percentage of actual players? I feel like you're answering around the question each time it is brought up. I, for one, actually hope there are a ton of bots, because that actually means that we are a lot earlier here than if all the DAU are real people.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's no way to 100% tell, right? So there's obviously a lot of accounts that are just very obviously bots, and we can tell what those are. But then there's a number of bots that just generally play like humans, and there's also humans that play like bots in some cases in these type of games. So we're never going to get actual numbers, and also to some degree we don't really care. Is it this percent or is it that percent? To us, again, our goal is just to make the incentive structures correct so that people want to get more cards and they want to get into higher leagues. And then it doesn't really matter to as long as bots don't have any advantage over human players in the game, then it doesn't matter to us, and it shouldn't matter to players, I don't think, whether it's a bot or not. So our goal really is not to just say how many bots are there, to the best that we might even be able to tell that. It's like I was talking about before. It's to identify any issues with the game economy where people, usually bot operators, are kind of exploiting something or farming things in a way that isn't, what we intended.
This is a very long feature request, but I'm going to read it. I want to leave my SBS staked as long as I can, including the SBS that I get from APR returns. But the problem here is I have to sit on the system 3 times a day to claim the SBS and then stake it back. It is hard for people who want to leave it for a long time. I am busy with my job, but at the same time, I'm confident on SBS as well. If there is a feature you could build so that SBS returned from APR could automatically be restaked, then that would make my life much easier for long-term investors.
Yeah, can I take this one?
Yeah, say the common answer.
It's one of the top 3 listed on feedback.splinterlands.com, and it's been prioritized for our devs to pick up and do, because I want this. And a lot of us that are on the team that actually we invest in the game, we hold assets in the game, we are involved in the game, and we love that too. So we're all sitting here with the same thing. We're like, okay, time to hit claim again. Time to hit claim again. And again. And I'm like, okay, auto staking is a thing. It's coming. And we it's been listed, you guys. You asked for it. It's going to happen. We love it. And it's just fun because it's not like I would say, oh, is it going to break the game? Do we need to rush to do that? But we need to do this. It's awesome. It's a great feature. So it's going to happen.
All right. Twitch streamers go through a lot of effort to promote Splinterlands and bring new players and excitement to the game. Your Telegram moderators will not allow streams to post Twitch links or free card giveaways. I myself am an affiliated Twitch streamer and was threatened with banning and muting if I said anything about upcoming streams. Please support your streamers. Don't treat us like we are the bad guy for supporting your games. Richard, I think there's some security components to this, or what can we do here? How do we help players?
Well, he's talking about, both. It's both. We're helping the whole community. So think about look at the landscape of what you're asking about. If we start letting anyone start posting, that means that anyone can post, and if someone's account gets hacked, it gets posted, and then we end up with people going where they shouldn't go. We don't want to do that. But I can tell you one thing that both me and Liam are very much care about, very excited about doing, which we haven't even really talked about publicly, because both me and Liam were like, we could talk about this. We're going to build out on the game me and Nate and Liam actually talked about this in December. we're going to build out on the platform a way for streamers to get stuff out that are working with us. So you guys, you want to post in Discord, you want to post in Telegram. There's a lot of security issues with that. But then, like, if you're a streamer, you're active, there will be a way for you to actually have your name in the game where people will see, like, who our streamers are. So, and I know Liam is working, it's just in the early days, so not everything I'm saying is perfectly aligned, but I'm telling you, we care about everybody that's working out there in the community to help promote Splinterlands, and we want to make sure people hear about it from you. We want to help you guys do better, because guess what, guys? Aggie said at the beginning, people are the value, the streamers are the value, the community is the value. We want to make that happen. And I'm a little bit dodging the question about, like, can we just let you guys post in there? I would say if you guys talk to the team can discuss it with you, and then we can possibly do it that way. But just having anybody just post is just, there's too many issues with it right now.
Yeah, I'm good with a white label, and I'd love to see streamers actually on Splinterlands.com. So if there are ways to get some of our community members to actually get their streams, or when somebody is streaming Splinterlands to, have that on our website, that'd be amazing. I'd love that. But
I would love that too. I definitely would love to see, like, who's live right now streaming Splinterlands. Like, I think these are the type of things that you guys are really going to see us ramp up in 22 as we get going.
All right. It would be nice if you add weekly, bi-weekly quests that can be worked on during the season time with some rewards. DEC, for example. Sometimes I finish my daily quest fast and lose the will to play more matches. What do you think about having more absurd quest objectives that might last more than one season?
I think it sounds awesome.
Oh,
I mean,
we want to do, and Matt was saying this the other day, we want to do a lot more rule sets. We want to do stuff that's like crazy rule sets. We want to make the game more interesting, more fun, more challenging. Like, it's not less. Like,
It isn't rule sets, it's quests.
Well, quests too. Both. Yeah. Everything. Throw more content at this game. Let's do it. Let's do it all.
Right.
Yeah, with everything though, I mean, it's a matter of priorities and things. So yeah, it's awesome. I'd love to have it. We'll have to try to see when we can do it.
All right. Suggestions to help the launch would prevent a flood of transactions from people opening and merging cards, being an effect on those who want to make their initial purchase. 30-minute to launch, posting on Marketplace postponed, opening packs postponed. 5 minutes until launch, ranked battles disabled. 15 minutes after launch, opening of packs restored. 30 minutes after launch, Marketplace restored. So I guess that's the launch of Chaos Legion. Before we get into, like, are we going to disable the crap out of everything? Like, how are we feeling about the general sale? Are we going to be okay on the 17th? Are we doomed? Are we, like, is this iceberg right up ahead? What are we about to do?
Matt, what do you think, Matt? Are we going to sell out?
Don't poke the bear.
Well, I think it's pretty clear. I mean, it's very unlikely we're going to sell out that quickly. So I think everyone, even if there are issues, even if you don't get in right at the general sale starts, like, there will be no problem. You'll be able to get your packs. You'll be able to get them within the first 24 hours and get all the airdrops if you want. That being said, I can't say what's going to happen, but we've never had a better team and, more resources put to making sure everything's running smoothly. So, I don't anticipate things will be too bad. I mean, maybe it's possible things might go slow for a little bit. But as far as, like, turning off different parts of the game, like opening packs and things, we've also made it so that we can kind of separate a lot of those things. And when we did the last stream of the when Chaos Legion launched and you could open packs, we actually separated pack opening transactions from other transactions as far as how we process them. So that allowed it to not, have issues. And we could do the same thing here. So we don't have to disable Marketplace and opening packs and things like that, because they can be separated out so that they're not affected. And also generally, while the volume of transactions for actually purchasing packs, even though there'll be a lot of people and interested in getting them, it's like nowhere near the transaction volume for other things like battles and even market transactions and stuff. Because typically, you make a transaction, you buy your packs, and that's that. Maybe you do a couple, but it's not like like battles where people might have hundreds, per account.
So
So I'm
you
not
know,
too worried.
so you know what I want to do, Aggie? I want to do this. I want to gamify this. So I'm going to put together. Me and Chatter are going to put together a survey, a community survey where everybody can put in how many packs do you think we're going to sell in a 24-hour period after launch, and let's see what the community thinks. Let's put this out there, and then why don't we do this? Why don't if whoever picks the closest, we'll give some kind of reward to. I think this would be fun. Let's see what everybody's thinking. Because I mean, I have my guess.
It needs to be twofold. It needs to be how many are you going to purchase so that we can get some idea, and then what's your best guess of how many get sold on that first day.
That was perfect. We'll get that out to the community. Me and Chatter will work on that. We'll get that out.
And I could see. So we also need prices right rules, right? So the closest answer without going over wins. So you gotta be underneath the total rather than above it. So
I like it. And we'll split the reward among. If you tie, we'll split the reward between people.
Will this include the volume discount purchase packs or not?
Oh, good question.
Which it can be either way. I don't actually care. It just needs to whatever we put out.
Those are going to be shown in the numbers of packs sold on the site.
Yeah, we'll do that. If it's included, we'll include it.
We should include it. And do we have the exact number at this point? We should have an exact number. We'll get the exact number to give out to everybody before we launch this contest, I guess.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. When can we expect to see 4th, 5th airdrop cards with stats? It'd be better if we can see them before the general sale because bulk sales sold at least 1.5 million packs. And day one of general sales most likely will sell 0.5 million packs easily. So it'd be fair to see airdrop cards before the general sale.
Yeah, we would like very much to get those posted before the general sale.
There you go. Would you consider giving everyone who is interested, or maybe guilds only, access to the test server and access to all cards at max level? This way it would be possible to do skirmishes without having to rely on card rentals, especially for guilds, a very useful feature to do in-house challenges, prepare for brawl battles, or just try new strategies. A lot of this is kind of like another one of those feature requests of I want the ability to maybe not earn, but I want to play as if I own all the best cards. It's like a rule set or a game mode or something where I put in the cheat mode.
I saw this suggestion come through where we could make the practice, where you could pick the conditions of the practice, and I think that would be pretty fantastic, actually.
All right. Well, if you guys want that, rather than anything else that we're working on, I would encourage you to go to feedback.splinterlands.com, talk about a settings for practice mode, and see if you can't get votes to get that to get built. Would you consider giving Mavs the options to add more than one account? If I had 2 accounts in there, I could use them for guild purposes. You can definitely add more than one account. All you have to do is buy 1,000 packs on both accounts, and then you too can have Mav status on more than one account. Okay, that's what we got for questions. And so what I'd like to do is open this up to general style questions. So anybody that has a question, we'll try to answer this for the next 30 minutes, try to power through these. And so feel free to ask away. Just keep it PG-13. And, if you don't like something that we've said or done, please deliver your question professionally.
Before we get into it, I'm gonna jump, get back to work here. I just want to say, as always, thank you everybody for your support of the game. And we're 2022 is just going to be so amazingly awesome. I can't even imagine.
Yeah. Thanks, man. Thanks, guys. All right. EBT is asking, on the topic of making the game less favorable for bots without scaring them away completely, what if you did something like a cooldown for the rare cards from the Ghost deck after X games played per day? Not the quickest to fixes to code, but it would mean their win percent could drop after a human amount of games played each day. This will restrict but not place a limit on the earnings, as the rating will be lower if they keep playing it, though. So it's like you can't play the same ghost cards all day long. You have to use different cards. So it's almost like EVT per card.
So me and Matt actually were talking about this internally as recently as yesterday, and changes are potentially coming to the ghost cards. So I would just stay tuned on that. We don't need to dive deep here, but just know that we're actively discussing that topic.
Question: will you be able to play both formats at the same time? My fear would be old cards would be devalued.
Yes. Why wouldn't you? It's going to be the same. I believe it's the same ECR pool. So you can play both. Well, you mean can you queue at the same?
I think he means can I get rewarded in both? And then you probably can't queue in both, but you can be. Anyways, so I like this one. Brybro's asking, is there any eye candy from Nate? Mr. Nate, do you have any eye candy you'd like to share with us today?
Well, ideally, it would be eye candy related to whatever we're discussing. So let me think. I'm trying to think what we've been discussing so far.
Is there any updates on on Chatter's card? I saw some colorized version of it, but I haven't seen the full thing yet.
Oh yeah, for sure. We can show an updated Chatter. So Chatter, if you want to start using this image, if you didn't have it already, this is an image you can use for your profile pic.
Awesome.
So
that looks
so
great.
Cool.
I think HTC. I think he's in here somewhere. So if not this town hall, then maybe a future town hall. We'll have to get him in here and pick his brain for artistic process and style and whatnot. I know that he already came up with some conceptual sketches for Hardpoints.
Oh, really?
So yeah. So I'll have to find those somewhere.
Oh, I'd love to see him. I'm sure everybody would love to like. After I became a meme today, I've got to counterbalance it with some kind of cool thing.
The only other thing that I got a lot of different stuff, but I guess what's on people's minds might be the general sale, and I know that there's been a lot of back and forth internally with Cryptomancer, and as we work through how the page layouts are going to look and all that. So I guess if anyone's curious about how that was going to work, I guess I can kind of find something. Let me see. So for the general sale, once phase 2 is over and it ends, we're going to put up that countdown screen. But there's going to be a short period of time where that's what you see is that countdown screen. But we do want to allow people to start claiming airdrops before the general sale starts, before the insanity begins. So this is kind of like what we're thinking right now, and this is what Cryptomancer is working on as we speak, is to present the opportunity to make any claims for those airdrops that you qualify for without having to wait for the general sale, which I think is outlined in the Yaba's blog post. So that's something that you can have to look forward to. And then as kind of what's been indicated before is the fact that the bonus pack, you're going to have an opportunity to use vouchers in a different way. And you'll be able to kind of, here, I'll throw this in here. I think this is... So
where's the button to buy packs in that?
So yeah, once the countdown reaches 0 and the general sale starts, you're going to see a screen something like what I'm showing there. So you'll have an opportunity to use vouchers, scale up or down how many vouchers you want to use based upon how many bonus packs you want to go ahead and pick up. So and that's key for those of you who are looking at vouchers. Just know that internally, as we are thinking through all the creative side, the development side, all sides, I think it's pretty much across the board. Everyone is looking at every feature, every update, everything that we do in the game we're thinking to ourselves, yes, we want it to look cool and we want it to work properly, but how does this give value to the players? How does this give value to SPS? How does this give value to vouchers? So there's a couple of those things that we, that are new and that we're constantly looking at when we're creating stuff for the game. So for those of you sitting on vouchers, for those of you who are selling the vouchers thinking, I don't need these things, it's our job to make sure that we change your mind relatively soon.
Or that you just regret everything.
Yeah.
I'm pretty good with that too. I'm pretty good with that too.
So whether it's SPS or vouchers, it's our job to make sure that you're second guessing every time you're trying to sell those or give them away. So we're going to make sure that you may not see it right now, but very soon, every single feature in the game is probably going to have some sort of tie-in with that kind of thing. So I mean, if you guys have particular requests or whatnot, great. But otherwise, yeah, that's kind of what we're working through right now, preparing for the general sale.
I'm definitely excited to see that. I'm definitely excited to see those concepts though that he's done, Nate. So whenever that makes sense, I don't want to rush you.
I want to see land. I want to start seeing like what's the land rollout going to look like. So that doesn't need to be today, but like in terms of what are the next big things coming? We got the Wild and Untamed, we have Chaos Legion, we have Land, and I think Land is really like my Wild and Modern seem like they're relatively straightforward to me. I know that there'll be more options and the page will get a little bit bigger, but having two formats of the same game, it doesn't really stretch my imagination. But like, what does land look like, and how will I interact with it? Man, that could go in like a trillion different ways. And so the more that I think we can kind of nail that down to players and be like, homie, you really ought to capture some land before we roll this damn thing out.
No, for sure.
Not financial advice. It's just general life advice.
No, it's just my 22 years resolution is acquire as much land as I can.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. Let me whet your appetite. And there's a little wetness behind some of these pictures. So what I'll do is I'll share kind of like because some people realize we've talked about land in the past and we've shared some sneak peeks in the past, but I think a lot of our players haven't quite wrapped their brain around just how robust, how much depth we're giving it. So case in point, a lot of people are familiar with the fact that we have 14 different geography types. And that's Aggro's fault.
You're welcome.
Aggro decided, he wanted to go just running, screaming off into the jungle and just think of every conceivable possible variation of land that he can think of.
Just Nate cut me down from like 35. We settled at 14 and not.
He had this ginormous spreadsheet full of so many different land types, and I'm thinking, oh my God. Some of these things I had to Google to figure out what the heck is that. Yeah. And then other things, there's like so much overlap. I was like, is that really necessary? So we did whittle it down to 14, but be that as it may, even though there's like 14 different geography types, well, you have to keep in mind that each geography type has 4 different rarities. You got common, you got rare, you got epic, you got legendary. And so the challenge...
But wait, there's more, because then you also have the... Is it magical land versus non-magical? And is it a natural resource versus a magical resource? And is it occupied or not? So exactly. It's like, it's just like fun with exponents.
So I did have a video call not that long ago. It was like last week, I think, or week before. It's all a blur. But I was on a team with a whole bunch of animators, and we were discussing how to really put some wow factor into the magic land. And there was all these concepts and ideas, and it really revolved around animation. How do we make sure that all this magic is unique to each element and this, that, and the other? But I'm not going to get too much into that because that's not what I'm going to share right now. That's another day. But let's just look at a swamp. So here's a typical swamp, and I'll share this in here. And this would be probably a common swamp. So, and you'll notice that it's not just a common swamp. When you have an occupied land, which is what this is, it's a swamp that has inhabitants already in it. And because it's common, you don't see this ginormous fortress where Darth Vader lives and there's all these minions. Instead, you see in the distance kind of like a little hut, a little cave. You wonder, is there a troll in there?
Who's that little dude down there? That was my first thought. Like, what little dude is in there?
So this is a common swamp that's been occupied. And so as we work through it, you'll see, okay, well, here's a different swamp. This one's not occupied, but you'll notice that Shino XL, he's the concept artist, and he's a player, and he's also a Hive blogger, so give him props. But he's done a great job in creating these because it was a real challenge trying to come up with, well, how would swamps look if their resources that are in that land are different or more bountiful? And so this would be, I believe this is the rare swamp. And as we work our way up, here is an epic swamp. Now, not only is it an epic swamp, but it's occupied. And you'll notice that we went from a little hut or a little, a little cave to some a little bit more intimidating. And you're thinking to yourself, well, crap, I better build a bigger outpost because this looks a little more daunting. Whoever's in that big fortress, whether it's a bunch of goblins or something else, is going to require a little more effort to combat. So, there's that. And then finally, here's one more swamp I'll share with you, just to give you an idea of how they evolve. Just and it's a swamp, but it's beautiful to look at. I mean, it looks gorgeous. It looks like a nice swamp. And what's great is that as we get into land, you're going to find that, well, swamps are for like death magic, right, Nate? And I'm like, no. Why can't you have a swamp infused with earth magic, or a swamp infused with even life magic? Or why can't you have, all these different geography types? Agro was very flexible with me in allowing for that kind of threats.
You were like, I'll quit and I'll burn your house down if you make it so that swamps only have swamp magic. No. He was very firm with me.
No, I wanted to.
Is swamp magic stinky by nature, or is that?
Well, keep in mind we actually have bogs and we have swamps. They're actually distinct geography types that we're introducing. So there's going to be some people out there who are kind of like making these distinctions, and maybe they'll be doing Google searches like I did to try to figure out what the heck's the difference. So
does that mean that there's a legendary blog with a keep on it possible?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's
you said blog instead of bog.
Blog.
Yeah.
Blog.
A legendary blog.
A blog. Hey, it's a Web 3.0. You never know.
Yeah.
The NFTs have NFTs. Okay. Well, there's a million different questions that I'm scrolling back now to try to answer all these things. But that's awesome. I mean, I'm pretty excited. And I'm, do you have any of those that are in like a card frame? Can you show anybody what a concept card frame might look like?
Oh boy. I would have to go back and see some of our older AMAs where I shared that stuff. Or you know what? Let me look real quick.
I love it. I love it, Aggie. Let's see how far Nate's gone. This is it.
Yeah.
Where are we at? Where are we at, Nate?
All right, let me see. I'm scrolling through literally hundreds and thousands of folders and files.
So I keep telling people, one day I'm gonna show up to an AMA or a town hall, and Nate's gonna show up and he's gonna be like, "Guess what, guys? The feature film is being released in theaters today. Splinterlands full featured film." And I'm like, what? Where did this come from?
I'm ready for it.
So UnitQM is asking, how many development hours does it take to make a new match type? like hopefully some of this discussion around all this stuff is helpful to that question of like, there's not one specific number. I mean, we can make something terrible and put it out in like 2 minutes, but even that is hard. I mean, it's like to really do this right, like you need a good idea. You need to flesh it out into deep design. You have to then get consensus across all these different teams. You have to build out like a million different creative assets for it. And then you pass it off to the dev team to like implement. And then you have to do all the bug fixes, keep it running, and then add features over time to it. So like how many development hours does it take? Like human hours, it's hundreds or thousands, and it's across like 4 or 5 different teams to do it right.
Right, and then it's like, even just something simple like a rule set. Like, what does that do to the economy? Like, if we launch a new rule set, imagine the impact on all the cards that are powerful in that rule set and weak in that rule set getting affected all at once. So it's like, it's definitely like, oh, let's just throw rule sets out. We got to like think about these things a little bit.
So, I mean, what I had handy is like probably the first version that we came up with, and so you got to keep in mind that this was shared a long time ago, and it's evolved since then. So it's better, but at least for those of you who haven't been around, you're not, you're new to the game, and you're like, hey, I wasn't in those AMAs a long time ago. Then at least this will kind of give you an idea, and don't put a lot of stock in the stats or anything like that. That's all just pulled out of our butt. It's TBD.
Yeah, I want to see what with all the newest artwork. These were kind of like placeholder things to get us going, but I want to see what all the new stuff looks like. So hopefully next week or the week after, you can kind of tease us with like, a first pass of what a player might actually own upon opening up their land, getting their claim, what will actually be in their collection. Okay, we have 15 minutes and we got a whole bunch of questions. Let me kind of dive back. Will there be 2 separate season daily rewards for Modern Wild that would theoretically double player engagement time played and ensure utility of the OLA cards? I know I'd play both formats. Daily rewards, I think there's still only one. And then, and you have one ECR. So like you can play them both, but we're not really trying to double the amount that everybody plays. All right, where's the best starting point to dive into the lore? I keep seeing stuff I keep seeing lots of cool stuff, but it feels like I started reading halfway through the book. Could the FAQ on Splinterlands include a lore section? So yeah, this sounds like a lore tab to me. I know that we've talked about this before, but that would be another thing to put into the game, Nate.
Definitely, and I think that's something that, I mean, keep in mind, guys, that stuff I've brought up before is that when we introduce land, it's introducing so much more than plots of land to set up a shop on. It's introducing an opportunity for players to actually influence and take part in the world that we're building. And the narrative team is hard at work in making sure that all of that makes sense. So when you get a plot of land and you look off into the wilds where no one owns any land and you're wondering what's over there, the narrative team is hard at work trying to create names of forests and landmarks and histories and cultures. So when you make your way over there, the idea here is, quests and NPC type interactions and boss fights and raids and survival mode and all these different play styles come into the ecosystem where, I think it was brought up earlier in the town hall, maybe a previous question earlier where it was like, okay, what happens if I finish my quest? I'm not as, compelled to play the game anymore. Maybe I'll go do something else. Our objective here, especially, and land really sets the foundation for this, is that you will never leave your computer again. You'll never sleep. You'll never eat. When you're done with this rank play quest, okay, is there more to do? Heck yeah, there's a whole Splinterverse of things to do, and it's never going to end. So just be prepared with your caffeinated beverages, I guess is my recommendation.
Nice. And just keep in mind that that's not to like ruin your life, but hopefully you'll own assets and get rewards and actually have a better life than the guy that's down the street that's like, hoofing it outside and shoveling all the pavements.
Yeah,
All right.
I think I see in chat William Hessian is kind of touching a little bit on where we're headed. That's where I want to head. I want to be where quests aren't just a thing on the top of the battle log screen. You're actually going into a map view and you're digging your quest over there at the ground level in the Splinterverse.
If I buy 1,000 packs of Gen Sale, can I move what I think he wants to be Maverick status to my other account? You will register in the bot. There's like a registration section in Discord. You register there, and it will link to your account. So your Discord can fluctuate a bit. Question: when will be listing on centralized exchanges because low liquidity is killing us? You guys should go into the AMAs of centralized exchanges and ask them, when will you be listing Splinterlands? Because I don't run their businesses. I can't tell you when they will list us. You guys should go be out there. This guy's name Push and Shove, and I just want to go give a shout out. Your name is awesome, and I think it's great. First of all, thank you guys for doing this. This game has the chance to change my life completely. I'm aware of your policy regarding bots, and I'm super fine with bots being in the game as long as they don't have advantages over normal players. But it is okay to have market bots that place buying transactions in the same block as the transaction of the seller. I have tried to look at this from all possible angles. It feels like insider trading. They have privileged access to mempool transactions, and they are using it to profit at the expense of other players. I'm okay with market bots, but used unfinished and published blocks. Can you change the way transactions are processed in such a way that it doesn't fulfill if the sale and purchase transactions are on the same block?
So we talked about this 2 months ago, and we started digging into it. And we got super busy with Chaos Legion. Right now, I'm adding it to our short list to look at again.
Awesome. Can you give an update about the next wave of official Splinterlands tournaments? Last week, Aggie said that they're about to come, and he just has to put them in. I'm still designing them. I really hope to have them up tonight. If I don't, then I'm really going to hate myself. So after this, my day is done. So I just got to spend the night doing it until they're up. But it's a beast. I know you guys are just like, just throw up a tournament, Aggie. What's the big deal? And it's like, you have no idea how much crap I'm going to take over the next 2 weeks over like my SPS fee requirement was off by like 0.5 in this one category. And I built it into 4 tournaments. So for 2 weeks straight, I'm going to get like slapped around by half the community. This stuff is like technical, challenging, a pain in the butt, multiple spreadsheets, days long, and multiple hands trying to help. And even still, it's a nightmare, which is part of why I don't put it on to anybody else, because I don't want anybody else other than me taking the heat for this, because it's so much crap that is about to be thrown my way. But that's why we're going to do it. As part of the ranked Redux work, have you considered allowing players to choose a league each season and accounts only being able to fight in that league per season? If you need to change leagues, you can, but you'd be reset to the bottom of the league. I think that's a Richard question, or maybe a Matt question.
Oh, sorry. I was writing up the last thing.
As part of the ranked Redux work, have you considered allowing players to choose a league each season and accounts only being able to fight in that league per season?
So the whole matchmaking is right now being gone through a analysis phase where we're trying to better align matchmaking. I think that's really what you're getting at. You're really trying to get at, like, how come when I play, I end up playing somebody with $400,000 worth of cards and they're in Bronze 3. So, and you only have, $10 worth of cards. So we're looking at matchmaking right now and doing a thorough analysis to see where we can improve it across the board to make the game more fun. And that's the whole point. We want to make the game more fun, and it's no fun if you go in there and everything's max gold foil against your ghost cards. So we're definitely looking at that.
Alex is asking, can we allow credits and SPS for guild buildup? I'd be good with burning SPS for guilds as well as DEC. I know people are going to say, hey, that kills one of the use cases for DEC, but DEC is trading well above where we wanted it, and SPS, I think, could use some love, which would also help DEC. So I don't know if that's like our next priority, but well, why don't you put that into feedback.splinterlands.com and we'll see if the players support it. Is there an ETA for the Modern WoW format mode? What do you say? Do we have that from Mancer yet?
No, he hasn't. No, it's late Q1. I mean, we want it to be done right, and along with some of Modern and Wild, Nate and his group have been looking at ways to improve those screens because we're shifting a bunch of things on them. So we don't have an exact date, but it's the next big thing after we get the general sale live.
Has the cutoff date for submitting vouchers to claim bonus packs for the sale been determined? It's not fully determined, but it will be before the 17th. What time is the gen sale on the 17th? I don't know. Please check
It's 12 Eastern.
12 Eastern. There you go. If you click onto your SPA, let's see. Will beta cards start giving DEC bonus? Yeah, we've been promising that forever. We should really you'll put that into feedback.sbs.com and we'll put it in with the other suggestions, but we really do need to make that happen. It might happen when we roll out land. I don't know, but we've been saying it forever. We really need to do it. Question: it's been noticed that there are a few trading bots that are able to buy cards in the same block. That was already discussed. So they're gonna do it or talk through it. There is Chatter again. He just looks so devilishly handsome. What a handsome man. All right. Is there any interest in banding together as a community for a big charity move that could be both good publicity and help some people in need? Perhaps a day where everyone opts in and donates their rewards to a specific cause. If we could get something, if we had a cause that like we really thought was good, I'd be interested in doing something like, a button on the screen or something to be like, what will our community do? It's all voluntary. You don't have to participate. Maybe there's a couple different things that we could get out, but sort of a curated list of cool social projects to work on. I'd be good for that. Could community boss fights be a thing? You fight with your deck to the death to damage a super strong boss, and others contribute damage too for loot. Boss fights are a thing that I'm hoping will be part of land. Question: are there secrets hidden in the runes? I found a few hidden gems in game art. What do we know about the runes?
Yeah, well, once we get that system worked out, I think that's another thing that Joey, who you heard from earlier, is tackling. I think that's his task. Yeah, that's his task. So we're working through that, and as soon as we have something that we feel really good about, then we have to decide whether to just share that with the community or whether to let them piece it together via Easter egg. So we'll work on that.
And no more questions because we're already going to run a couple minutes late. When do you think we'll find out about power card requirements for Modern League? Have those been established yet, Richard? Or no?
No,
I doubt that we've done it.
No.
It'll be closer to when we actually launch it. Matt likes to put this stuff as far back as possible, and I used to hate it, but now I support it. Questions: have you thought of releasing some skins influenced by countries which have the most Splinterlands players? Seems like a cool thing to give back to the international community and add to the eye candy. Yeah, the skins is probably one of the most underutilized things that we do, and we should try to do more, especially tying that to splintertalk.io. But it's just not, it's always hard to make that the biggest priority because, skins aren't a major revenue driver and they're not like a major player driver. And they won't be until we modify it. But, that's kind of a catch-22. Do you have a final total on bulk pack sales? I think it was 1.5 million packs that we did in the bulk. Had a couple of big guys back out last minute, which was fine. But I don't know. We did I think it was around $6 million and 1.5 million packs that we sold. Is an unreleased character? No. Question: if the broader crypto market goes into full-on crypto winter, will it have any effect on game development of Splinterlands? In other words, will crypto asset prices affect how much devs get done or how many new devs can be hired? We are a super lean, mean team. We could go for 3 years without a single other sale and still be okay. So no, we're here to build this game. We're not. We want to make money, but like we're a bunch of game designers that want to go make this world better than the way that we found it. So no, we'll be building through a crypto nuclear winter if we need to. Question: can you please give an update about the next wave of official Splinterlands tournaments? That's the third time. Yeah, I'm going to try to get them up tonight. And literally, as soon as I'm done on this call, that's my next thing. Can we please get a savannah? There will be no cats in the land expansion. I'm sorry, Byzantinist. Is there a desert? Didn't I do desert, or did you nix my desert?
No. I think we have deserts.
Yeah, there's a desert, but it's definitely not a savanna because in Pretoria, it is well known that cats can't live in savannas. So we have neither savannas, and it's very sad. Okay. Will old cards count CP count for modern league power requirement? I think Matt's answer was yes, but let's wait till he's back before we do that. Gien Piart, I'm not sure. I probably just butchered that. I'm sorry. I was looking at the DEC rich list, and the top 200 accounts, there are also those of SL-Hive, SL-BCS, SL-ETH. We have 2.2 billion of DEC, and at the 200th account, we stop at about 1.1 million DEC. Imagine adding all the other players, practically half of the total system comes from DEC. It was a huge mistake to put so much value on DEC compared to all the other assets. Don't you think a mistake has been made and that all these airdrop points would have been better distributed among the real assets of Splinterlands as card, land, skins, and not all catalyzed in DEC to get more airdrops? I don't know. I mean, the damn thing has gone really well. Like our business 17x'd in a year. So it's hard for me to look back and be like, you know what, we should have done a lot of things differently. So one of the things that we did is that if it was a mistake, it's better to be wrong and strong because it's not an exploit. If we had made an exploit and the exploit was ruining the game, then I'd be in favor of changing it. And I somewhat agree that it's probably too many airdrop points assigned to DEC, but it doesn't matter because we set the rules. And if the ecosystem is not doing something that we like, we don't come back and just change the rules every single time. We let markets market. And so we're going to deal with it for a year. And there's some certainly like super cool aspects of it, some frustrating aspects of it. But something to consider there for sure. Let me skip through some mini pictures. We might be running out of questions. Question: will keep and castle properties have rarities? I don't think our keeps and castles have rarities. Question: you talked about the evolution of land. Does this mean common land can be transformed to legendary over time by use of game mechanics and resources, or do you just mean graphical evolution? It's graphical evolution. We're not doing that. Question: can you please give an update about the next wave of official Splinterlands tournaments? How many times do I have to answer that question? We already answered that. Replaying the stories. New Dragonland, hilarious. I think we're done. Can I publish again, or will I be warned? I already answered your question. Savage. All right. I'm going to call it here. I don't know what else is going on. There's a lot of cat pictures in here right now. It's a little bit of craziness. Aggie is narrating any animated series that we make in the future. I'd love to go narrate that. It was a dark and stormy night within the Splinterlands.
Love it.
Nate came in, and he. Anyways, so here's the thing.
Wait, what did I do?
Yeah, that's a Caesar.
Is this? Are we ending on a cliffhanger?
Yeah.
Is it a cliffhanger?
Yeah, that's how we end it.
Yeah. That's the end, guys. So look, why don't you guys? I normally do the outros. Why don't you guys do the outros? All right. So just like tell the players what you think. Tell the players how you feel. Tell the players what we're doing. I don't really care. Tell them, talk to them, and take us out of here.
So I'm gonna just throw one thing. Join me in Chatter. I'm doing a plug. Join me in Chatter in 1 hour on Twitch. We're gonna be on Twitch, hanging out, just playing the game, starting at the bottom, fighting our way up. It's gonna be a while. We're gonna be doing it on Friday, so you come hang out with us, guys. If you enjoy playing the game like we do, and you want to see a bunch of newbies come play, don't expect amazing things out of us, though. We're just gonna be
I was
having
gonna
fun.
say we need all the help we can get.
Yeah, we need the help. We'll do that. Over time, we're hoping, though, that series will develop into inviting some of our top players in to teach us strat. We're going to be learning the tools of the trade, looking at this thing. And, who knows? It's always interesting when you hear two guys that are working on the game, playing the games. You never know what you might hear in the stream. So, so we look forward to having you guys. It's a lot of fun to be here. Nate, Chatter, Aggie, pure pleasure to work with you guys. I am super excited for 22. So let's just keep kicking ass with this community that's doing amazing things. Thanks, guys.
Nate, what you got? Take us out of here.
Yeah, I mean, just follow what Hardpoint said. 2022 is going to be fun. If you're hopping onto his he and Chatter's live stream, and you're giving up tips and pointers, then try to save some of those for or add those to the form that Joey shared earlier. Because if you're willing to help all the players out there who want to get more invested in the game and enjoy the game, then we're counting on you, the veterans, to really, put out your strategy and your tips and all that good stuff. I mean, the success of the game is you guys. So we really appreciate you guys.
Liam?
Yeah, I mean, just reiterating what everyone's pretty much said here. Like, please come join us after the stream if you want to. But thanks so much for taking your time to join in here, guys. I mean, obviously, community is really what drives this game here. So just really appreciative of everyone, and let's see what we can do in 2022.
Yeah, I mean, it's a gift to be here. It's a gift to work with these guys. What a blessing. What a life. All I want to do is make games and be snarky on the internet, and I feel like I have the best job in the world with the best people and freaking a community that's awesome. We're growing. The game is growing. The capabilities of our team and of the tool of the game and just the ecosystem as a whole is just going like bonkers. And so I'm grateful every single day. And there's so much stuff that we are working on. It's astounding. And none of it would be possible if it wasn't for this really hardcore team and the community that supports us. So it is a blessing to serve. I spend my days trying to think, how can I get as much value to the players as possible? And I'll do that for years on end. I love being here, and I'm just thankful for the opportunity. Thank you, guys, and let's go have a killer 2022. Thanks, everyone.